He said he had an appointment 11:25.
So let's call him 11:20.
Let's call him 11:24.
This is Jimmy's podcast, season 10 on the podcast. We coming back for more. I bet you never thought we'd last, and neither did we. Breaking news, show reviews, rubber boots, reactions, and other social media crap. And if nothing else, you know you're gonna have a laugh. You're gonna have a laugh, oh yeah, 'cause this is the podcast.
So before I get into my Super Bowl stories, I saw some unintentional porn, which I wanted to share with you guys.
That's the best kind.
Is it though?
Oh.
So
when does it happen is the question.
we were on, actually not really porn, more than just, let me just tell the story. We were at 16 at the Waste Management Open, one of the craziest places in all of sport, as you know. I can get into more details on that later on. And I was leaving the 16th hole with Luke Wilson, Kara Waglin. That was my my entourage. Actually, more like Luke's entourage.
That's a very good entourage.
And so I'm going down this set of steps, leaving the 16th hole. Everyone is drunk, by the way. Not the three of us, but everyone around us is as drunk as you can imagine watching the Waste Management Open. There is a, how am I going to say this nicely? Walking towards me, like a plus-size woman. Plus. I think she was Hawaiian. And she had a dress on. And she was being helped by two of her friends because she was stumbling. And she was coming towards the stairs. I was going down the stairs. Just as I was like on the second to last stair, she fell. Someone yelled "man down," which I thought that was funny. But she fell backwards, falling on her back. And her legs just came right up into the air. And she was not wearing any underwear.
Oh, that was the intention.
And it was the most right in my face accidental nudity that I've ever seen.
And now it's all you can see.
And it was all I could see. And there's a lineup of people waiting to get into 16. So about 20 to 30, I'd say deep, sort of witnessed the incident. And saw like probably in a millisecond were able to see what had happened and see where I was. And I let out this rather primal, ah! And then I turned the corner and I put my hands on my head. And I'm like, I saw a lot, like a lot. Like it was a lot that I saw, a lot.
Yeah.
It was just there. And
wow.
Anyway, that was my.
I mean, I want to respect your experience. The PTSD you're experiencing right now. Was she okay?
She was fine.
Yeah.
I did stop and she was helped up by her friends and I didn't let on. Well, I did actually because I kept going, ah! No, she wouldn't have noticed. It's craziness as people yelling everywhere. She wouldn't even have been aware of.
Was she inebriated?
Yes, okay. She was definitely inebriated.
That's why she was stumbling before.
Inebriated, and so do people go commando always to the Waste Management Open? Had she lost her undergarments at some point during the tournament? I don't know. I don't know any of the answers.
To me, that tournament looks like if there's going to be a tournament you don't wear any underwear
you go
to,
commando?
It's going to be the Waste Management.
Yeah, it was something. We went on the...
She was managing her waist.
Well, wow.
It was... it's a show. That was the second time I've been there. And I went by myself the last time the Super Bowl was in Phoenix. And this time I brought Kara and Luke, who I think had an awesome time. It was both of their first times at Waste Management. So we go to the 16th hole, which of course is the show. And the second straight time that I've gone to the Waste Management, sat down in my seat, and I've been surrounded by guys from Saskatchewan.
Wow.
Like 15 guys from Saskatchewan, all wearing the same T-shirt. It was one of their dad's 60th birthday.
Nice.
And so I think 2 or 3 sons and then all the sons' buddies. This was the trip to come to Waste Management. And the funny thing was, most of them recognized all 3 of us and were chatting. But the father turned around and chatted with me. I could tell he didn't recognize me. We had a little conversation. And then he started talking to Kara. And he said, "What do you do?" And she said, "Oh, I work at TSN." And he said, "Oh, Kara Waglin, yeah. And so he's talking to her for a couple of minutes. He goes, "Is Duffy still at TSN?" And I'd already been speaking with him for like 10 minutes. She goes, "Yeah, he's right there." And he goes, Oh. Anyway, very nice guys. Had an awesome time. They had been there. We were there approximately, I would say, 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon on Thursday. They had been at the front gate running, as I don't know if you've seen the videos of people who line up at 1 a.m. and run to the 16th hole. This is what happens. It's a tradition of waste management.
Wow.
So they had been there since then. They had been at the hole since 5:45. There was an hour and a half frost delay on Thursday. So I said to the one guy that I was chatting with, how many beers have you had? And you have cups. He had kept his cups, 23 beers.
Wow.
So you keep warm.
23 beers.
23 beer.
What, could you drink 23 beer?
I personally couldn't. I don't think any time in my life. After a while with beer, for me, I just start getting
Yeah.
full.
Like I would throw
can't-
up. Today, I think I would throw up on 6, maybe 7. You?
Listen,
23 beers.
The most I've ever had in my life is 9. 9 beers.
I think back in high school and uni,
Then you
I
had to
probably
drive
had
home.
more. Yeah.
I walked home.
But they were all completely fine. Like this guy who'd had 23 was as coherent as I was. And
Yeah, but I mean, it was spread over about
12 or-
almost like 20 hours.
12
That's
hours.
still a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
beer.
I would say so 4:30.
So sorry,
14
they line
hours.
up there at 1 a.m. and they get lit in at 4:30?
They line up at 1 a.m. They get lit at 5:30 into the
Well, he's
like
probably
at
crushing
dawn.
a couple beers while he's lined up.
I don't know, man.
You got to kill time.
Doesn't
Yeah, but
matter.
that's still a lot of beer. That's a high tolerance for alcohol, for sure.
Puff, what are your thoughts? Oh, wait, he's not here again. So this is
Puff
the
was the guy.
This is the third straight podcast where we haven't all been together, just because of logistics.
A fourth, no? I don't think we've had one where we've all been together yet this season. Season 10.
No,
Season
definitely,
10?
definitely.
The
That's-
season
is
of
that the theme?
separation. Yes.
We asked
So
Bump
I'm off next week, boys. Good luck.
for the third straight week. We asked Bump to be on, and he was not. He made himself not available.
Unbelievable.
And by asked him, I mean I thought about asking him, but so 3 times in a row, Bump has had a spot and
Declined.
has not come on. So
That's it for him.
he's going to become like our Matt Damon on Jimmy Kimmel thing, where
Yep.
he's never on.
Same effect, too.
Puffy is apparently at the doctor's. He has what time was that doctor's appointment?
11:25, I think.
Let's call him. Let's call Puffy and see
Find out.
see what if he's at the doctor's and what is the problem.
They're working on his welly, he says.
On his what?
His welly, I believe.
I bet you would. What are the odds we get the? Hey, you've reached Sean. You're looking to reach
You
Sean.
reach too cool for school.
I'm
you
not
know
here
what to
right
do.
now. You leave a message. Sean will get back to you right away.
Hello?
Oh, there he is. Are you in the doctor's office yet?
I'm walking to the doctor's office.
Oh, is it now? Before we make light of it, is it a serious issue?
We are not sure.
Oh.
No. It's a stomach ache.
Oh,
Oh.
wait a second. You go to the doctor for a tummy ache?
It's his son.
Apparently,
How bad is it?
he seems to be fine.
Is it? Remember, like season 1, episode 2 kind of problems? You know, where you had to run through the food court
The
and
clams?
stuff
yes.
happened?
The muscles,
No,
the
yeah,
clams?
not that. No, it's just sort of sore.
Oh.
So we want to be thorough.
Okay, well, if you have, we will delete this segment from the pod if you have like major surgery or something, okay?
Yes,
But if it's minor surgery, like day surgery, we'll keep it in.
that's fair. Yes, that is fair. I'm dealing with both, sir. I got a dog having surgery.
Oh,
Sick kids. It's a lot going on.
wait a second. Is it your tummy or your kids?
Barrett.
My kids.
Oh, I thought it was you. I wouldn't be making fun of Barrett being sick. Now I feel awful. I thought it was your tummy.
I didn't know where those issues came from.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Barrett, I feel bad for Barrett now. And
No, it's Austin.
but because it's Austin.
I thought it was Barrett.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, the producer's just giving me all sorts of bad information.
Puffy's story is falling apart here, buddy.
Yeah, first I thought first off told me it was your tummy ache, and then it was Austin. No, wait a second. It's Austin or Barrett?
Austin.
Okay. Well, I feel bad now.
Yeah, you should.
Did he have too much sugar? Too much sugar last night?
He's on his mom's watch.
Whoa. That sounds like you're throwing mom under the bus there, buddy.
I know you got to go because the appointment starts in like 2 minutes. So do you want to say anything funny to entertain the people before you go?
I got nothing.
How did it go without me last week? Just give me your quick review.
I thought that Stoff did a fantastic job in the driver's seat,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought Lester and I were brilliant.
Okay.
But you were also very strong with you might have pulled the best guess of anyone who's on who was at that media.
Well, how about Kadarius Toney playing one of the pivotal roles, maybe the play of the Super Bowl, that punt return. So,
Or Bradbury.
okay, so is it the Jimmy?
pivotal play.
Is it the Jimmy bump or the Jimmy
Curse. It's the curse.
It's the curse.
It's the curse.
Stoff? I brought up a sore point with Stoff.
Very much
Puffy, your children come first. We're going to let you go, but maybe update us afterwards if it's just a tummy ache.
Quick, for
If
sure.
it wraps quick, just give us a quick call and let us know that. Is it Austin or Barrett again?
It's awesome.
Oh, come on,
Let
man.
us know. Let us know that Austin's okay. All right.
Okay, I will.
I'll do my
Talk
best.
to you, boys.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye. That was Sean Puffy Cameron from the podcast.
Very, very clear audio.
I know it's just
Makes
for
sense.
people that don't watch the YouTube version. I just hold my phone, put my phone on speaker, and hold it up to the microphone.
That's
It's another reason
See?
to watch the YouTube.
it. Exactly.
You could do. What do you think? Like radio shows on overdrive? That's what they do.
I'm almost
Adam
convinced.
Schefter joining us now. And Brian Hayes is just holding his phone up
They
to the
just
thing.
passed the phone
You could
around.
do it. You could do it that way. Where were we before Puffy so rudely interrupted us by us calling him?
Oh, well, you were you were telling us about the Waste Management Open
Yes.
Right.
down in
And you
Phoenix.
had an iPhone.
your premiere event from this weekend.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's guys from Saskatchewan, very good time. Nothing really happened dramatic at 16 when you're there. The only problem is after the hole-in-one last year, actually there was 2 last year, but only the first one got a lot of hype because it was on Saturday when everybody was completely hammered. Everybody wants the hole-in-one. And it's a lot to ask because I don't know what the mathematical odds are of a hole-in-one over a 4-day event at one particular hole. They're still not great,
No.
right?
At that specific hole.
You
yeah,
got
it's-
like a couple of hundred shots at that hole over the, let's see, a field of 100, 200. You probably got 300 shots.
I mean, realistically, it also matters on the pin placement, right?
Yeah, and
Like
there
there's
was
certain years on the Masters, there's certain holes that they're more prone to hole in ones, and other years they're not.
correct. And the Saturday pin is always the hole-in-one pin. But I think the guys were screwed up this year with the wind because everybody was hitting it long. But anyway, it's funny because it's actually you can't see. With the skies are so clear, you can't see the ball. So you look back at the tee, you see the guy swinging. You can't follow the ball in the air, depending on the sky. And then you see the ball land, and then everybody either boos or cheers if it's on the green or not on the green. So it's not actually incredible sports viewing, but it's more about what's going on around you and all the knuckleheads that make it incredibly entertaining.
I have never been to a big golf event like that. I would love to go to the Canadian Open one year or something.
Or maybe the Masters.
Or maybe the Masters.
That
Yeah.
would be fun to go.
That'd be fun to go to the
Wouldn't
Masters.
it?
I don't know how.
I
I don't know. Stoff, do you know anybody that could hook us up there?
Not really. I wish I did. I mean, it is a bucket list item.
Wow.
You should go to the Masters sometime. We really got to do that before we're all retired, and so that gives us like a 30-year window.
Yeah. I just want Champagne Tuesday.
You got to be a part of that.
That would be awesome.
Canadian Open would be great, but golf is what I always tell people. Golf is the worst spectator sport. Like the Masters is something. The Waste Management is a scene, right? It's there as a scene, and even the Canadian Open is kind of. I think it's the second most fun tournament to Waste Management. A lot of guys dress up. It's trying to turn into a mini one. They got that hole with the rink and stuff.
Yeah.
Always the par 3, but golf sucks
Because you're only watching the one. I mean,
can only
realistically,
see-
I'm thinking you only see 1/18th of the tournament, right?
Yes, and your chances of seeing something really great are not great. Okay, so if you follow a group, for the most part, golf is they hit the fairway or they just miss the fairway. They hit the green, they miss the putt, they tap it in. That's what, or they or they hit it close and they make a 5-footer. That's basically what golf is. Maybe you'll see somebody chip in, but the chances you see in a chip in or a hole out or a hole in one are so slim. That's
and
why
also you having a good sight line on it, right?
Right,
Like,
and that's why you see people going nuts when they see a hole in one. Like Ricky got a hole in one on the weekend, and I could see the guys jumping up and down because that's their dream is to actually. Oh, I saw Ricky hit a hole in one at Waste or whatever.
Now, is this a Waste Management tournament? Is this the one where years ago Tiger hit?
Yes,
Okay,
he got a hole in one
hole in
in
one.
90 whatever it was, 98 or
okay,
whatever,
that's what
which
I
was
thought.
sort of the dawn where it really went. It was already nuts there.
Yeah.
It really went extra nuts.
I'll
after
never
that.
forget that.
Yeah, and if you look at that video, there weren't grandstands all
that
the
was
way
back
down.
in '98.
Somewhere in that 98, 2000
A
kind of
little more recent but
area.
yeah.
No.
He's just a kid. And there was no grandstands. There's a little bit of grandstands around the hole, but nothing all the way down. Now it is a complete stadium that they walk
Yeah,
into.
they built it up, right?
And it's fan. And I wish golf, I don't say golf should be like that every week, but I wish golf was like this more often.
True, but that's what makes this one particularly
You're right.
so
Exactly.
special, right?
But I
Like,
wish
I'd never seen anything like that
Yeah.
before. Like he hit the ball, people were like freaking out, and the ball's in the air, and then went in, and it was like this huge pop. Unbelievable.
Why not have the PGA Championship there? Maybe you know, you could do it twice a year, or have it there not all the time, but once in a while. Anyway, but back to my conversation. It's just whenever I bring people to golf, and I love, you know, how much live golf. I mean, I watch on television, but live golf is just not. Even the Masters. The Masters, no cell phones, no electronic scoreboards. And if you're big crowd, so if you're following Tiger or Spieth or somebody, you're about 10 people deep, you'll see the top of his cap. Or you sit on one hole.
This, Tiger.
And you see everybody go through and that's it. And you just see them on one hole. That's probably the best way to do it in a way. But you have no idea what's going on except hearing the roars around the course. So maybe you get lucky enough to see something, maybe you don't. Now, I love Augusta. It's amazing. But I'm just saying, as far as spectator sports go, golf has to be the worst.
Probably, but I also think it's probably something you want to experience once, just to
Exactly.
see how it all functions, like what you're not seeing on TV,
Yeah.
even if it is on the.
Plus, it's
morning
fun
side
walking
or whatever.
around. You're
Yeah.
outside, you know,
To
you
touch
see
the
people.
course in general and just see it on your own is something else too.
But at
right?
Waste, for example, so then we go into one of the, between 17 and 18 is a massive, basically a bar. First of all, there's a bar complex in the middle of the golf course where half the people are, just like 10 bars and food trucks and stuff. So they're not even anywhere near the golfers.
Really?
And then 17 and 18 is where all the private boxes and stuff are. And it's like free food and booze if you can get in there. But nobody is watching golf, like no one. And I was in there, you know, Luke knows everybody. He's talking to some other NFL guys and Kara's there. And we're there for 2 hours. And I'm going, guys, I kind of want to go watch golf. Can I go watch golf now? But no, everybody just wants to hang around and
Party.
socialize. So anyway, fun deal. Welcome to what episode?
3.
Episode 3.
Episode 3, season
10.
Season 10. The season.
We are approaching our 300th episode, by the way.
Shut up.
We're at like 270 something.
I thought we were still hadn't gotten to 100 yet.
I don't think
we never celebrated
We're
100.
still planning our 100th episode special, but
300
I don't think
episodes.
we'll hit it this season, but next season, season 11, 300 episodes.
How can you talk about nothing for 300 episodes? Did Seinfeld
let's-
go
well,
300 episodes?
We found a loophole. We continuously talk about the same nothings.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we fill the time.
Wow. Thank you, listeners, for putting up with this
Indeed.
drivel for that long. That's remarkable. We're limited in time today because we have to give up the studio to somebody. Some
Leafs
jackasses.
lunch today.
Leafs
Sorry I
lunch.
called you guys, whatever I called you guys in the interviews with the NFL players last week.
A-holes, I believe.
Yeah, I was just, I was a little bitter that I wasn't there.
Hurt
and
my feelings.
I knew you guys would be doing a good job, and so I was, so I was lashing out a little bit in my interviews with the guys.
Understandable.
How was the Super Bowl for you, your experience?
It was great. I really like Phoenix. I've realized, I'm getting to the age, like I'm not going to retire anytime soon, but I'm getting to the age where I think about it. I think about like where I'd like to spend some time in the winter, and obviously I love Turks. But I'm not sure Turks is a full winter kind of place. Like
You get bored.
there's not a lot to do there. The
get bored.
beach and
Hate to say it.
it's a perfect vacation place.
Of course.
Right? Week or 2
2 weeks? Yeah.
You get scanned by the local car people. You gotta be careful out there.
Now I have a buddy who does go there for like 2 months, and he was worried about that. But he plays like pickleball in the morning. He goes golfing in the afternoon. Works out, goes to the gym. It's not much different than life at home if you're retired, right? Except you're in a beautiful island.
Absolutely.
So he has gotten into it.
Can I ask you, sorry, one second, just on pickleball? Because it's becoming bigger, people are buying franchises, all this stuff. How is this, how is it going to compete even with tennis?
Oh, you
I
mean
don't
like
understand
on
what the appeal-
television?
what the appeal of it is to that
It's
extent.
easier.
To participate in?
Easier to
Yes.
participate in. So it's funny you bring this up because Brooksy has been, she doesn't golf. And so she's been want for something for us to do together. And while I was at Super Bowl, she signed us up for a pickleball league.
Mixed.
She signed us up, though, at the Aurora Senior Center.
Oh, no.
Dude, you're going to dominate.
You're gonna
This is
definitely
what
go
I'm
dominate.
thinking. This is my chance to finally win a championship.
I know. Why not?
The dynasty begins.
So she
Duffy's
went.
are
There was a
dominant.
drop in. This is like, and she also signed us up for like the beginners, league. So this
Sandbaggers.
I could.
Sandbaggers.
So she went to the
All
first
the tweener
one.
shots from Jimmy.
That's right. She went to the first one without me, and she said she met all these new friends. But she said the average age was significantly older than us. So this is a good shot for me. I don't even qualify as a senior. I guess I don't know. You have to be 65 or 60. I mean, maybe I'm just win the plus 50 division.
Careful though, because that's it can be a dangerous sport. We saw it with Craig Button.
Button, yeah.
And no, I'll tell you this one story. When I was up north in the summer, I had to go to a walk-in. They don't really have walk-ins up there, so you actually go to the ER. And when I was sitting in my waiting room, there was an elderly woman in the I guess room next to me, and she was there with a pickleball injury, and she was screaming in pain the entire time.
Really?
Yeah.
Was
laid out for a ball.
Hit by a ball or just fell?
No, she laid out trying to.
Well, I don't
hit
think
one
that would
and
be any
then-
different than tennis, squash, racquetball,
No,
those
no.
injuries.
Maybe it's because it's more for seniors, and so if seniors tumble, it's not that's what's the odd thing is like it's supposed to be a sport where you're not moving around too much to just get your blood going, and I guess now it's getting super competitive.
I just
Bone
found,
density, right?
I don't know why it's fun. It's just like it's kind of like ping pong. It's kind of like ping pong where you move around like a bigger court. Like the ball's big, it's fairly easy to hit it, and I don't know. I found it more entertaining, and something you could do with your bride, right? Girlfriend,
Sure.
your boyfriend, your whoever.
Yes.
So anyway, Phoenix, it's just nice, right? Like 70 to 75 every day. It gets really cold at night. Kara Wagland, I kept giving her, she kept saying, it's freezing here. It's freezing here. I'm like, we just came from Toronto in February. You can't say it's freezing in Phoenix. However, to her credit, it does cool down.
Oh,
the
desert
drop
gets
off
very
is
cold.
significantly
It gets
in the
very
desert.
cold at night. Absolutely.
But it was just really nice every day. And we were at a hotel right next to the stadium.
Oh man.
Our Mr. Wolf, she hooked us up. It's the one hotel right next to the stadium. Now, granted, earlier in the week wasn't the best for going to events and stuff in Scottsdale, but because Glendale is far away from everything. But we always did our hits outside the stadium, so that was easy.
Yes.
And on Sunday, we literally walked over to the stadium and walked home after.
You had some very nice footage from where you were sitting of Rihanna and
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Well, that was in a full zoom. I was kind of way back.
Okay.
But Lester, geek moment for me, music-wise. So the only party people are going to ask, they always ask what parties you go to. They're a lot bigger VIPs than Jimmy at the Super Bowl. Jesse probably could go to any party. Same with Luke, Super Bowl champion.
Sure.
And they were kind enough, like they said. But we were way out in Glendale, and you're working long days, so I wasn't going to too many parties. But the one party we went to was the FanDuel party. They have a relationship, of course, with TSN.
Yes, of course.
And
Partnership.
the guest was the Killers.
Oh yes, I saw you posted something.
And the Killers are probably top 3 all time for me.
Really?
Like the Hip's my favorite band ever. I'd have to really think about this, but the Killers are like right there. And if you went to my like Apple Most Played, and I've never seen them live because every time they come to Toronto, I'm doing a game or out of town or whatever. And so this was your typical corporate gig, albeit with maybe 5,000 people. And they probably, what were they paid for that? Probably $1 million or something like that, right? But there was only, I would say out of those 5,000, maybe there's 500 or 1,000 who were really into the Killers, and I was. So there's like a VIP area everybody was in, maybe 100 yards back from the stage. And I left that and went right up to the front.
Nice.
And to watch the show. I'm just going to show you. Well, this is not very good. Oh, that's... Oh, I picked one where he's not singing.
Again, that audio sounds very good. For folks watching on YouTube, it looks good too.
What we got here? Oh, he did a Fleetwood Mac song. Here you go.
Nice.
You can go your own way.
Go your way.
I was trying to find Mr. Brightside. I took too many damn videos. I was so pumped. I was the kid, like the teenager, like seeing Taylor Swift jumping up and down, yelling my ass off at the Killers.
The Killers do. They do. Oh shit.
Mr. Brightside is the big one. They do. I got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
They don't do
Mr. Brightside.
You were young.
When we
yeah.
were young. It was just banger after banger, buddy.
Man.
For an hour and 10 minutes. It was spectacular. So one of my favorite concert experiences ever, frankly.
Nice.
And I was just by myself. And I went back there, and all those guys weren't even watching the show. Our boss is not to call them out. Actually, Stu was watching the show.
Stu's a big music guy.
Some of the others. And then I was really jumping up and down like crazy. I went back to the VIP area just at the end, like for Mr. Brightside, because I thought everybody would leave on me. I didn't want to get left behind.
No.
And I was like standing on the rail and jumping up and down. And then I realized like right behind me was like Stu, Sean, Mirko, the president.
Oh my God, Mirko was there.
Mirko was there. And I was just acting like an idiot. So that's probably the end of my time at the company.
No,
you were still with us, Stoff, or are you doing other things over there?
I'm keeping it.
We have a limited amount of time, right? So anyway, Super Bowl week was great. Game was great. Anticlimactic ending a little bit. I felt bad for Stoff. I still would have called the flag. I'm sorry, Stoff, but I understand.
Would you have called it on every single play in the game?
No, I know.
It happened. I do have an issue with that, and it's not my issue as an Eagles fan. I had the same issue last year when it happened to the Bengals. Also in the last 2 minutes, also in the red zone, also handing the other team the game.
Yeah.
If you're not calling it the entire way through, you shouldn't be calling it. Consistency in refereeing has been a huge issue the past couple years in the NFL.
Big time.
Okay, truth, but there's like 4 guys calling things. So who's to say this guy, like this, you're talking about this one guy whose only job is to watch those 2 players. And in his case, his job is to not hold up,
I understand,
the standard.
But you got to strive to be better. Like this is the highest level of this game's played at, and
okay.
I don't know. I think the NFL really needs to look into having full-time officials in order to be able to expect anything from them. And
they're not full-time officials?
Not full-time is the most ridiculous shit in the
They're
world.
not full-time.
Yeah. No.
That is ridiculous.
So they have other jobs or whatever.
Yeah, they're not like actual full-time employees. Whether they're probably compensated well,
Right.
but it's not like.
Yeah. But I'll say this, I still think that was a penalty. But it did suck that it sucked because I think we all wanted to see what Jalen Hurts could do with the last drive, and we won.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just more like even like offensive holding. You can call on every single play, so you can pick and choose. So football is already a bit like that. You just need you need some form of consistency.
It's tough.
Yep.
But also defend better, Bradbury.
Well, look, I mean, the defense was a huge letdown. You can't disagree with that.
I'm not going to say huge, but it was probably the deciding factor. To me, the deciding factor, like if I was handing out the MVP, I wouldn't have given it to Mahomes. I would have given it to that O-line. That's what made the difference in the end.
But both ways, like just in the trenches period. Jesse talked about this on the field after the game. That O-line for KC not giving up a sack, but also the defensive line, like stopping the Eagles' running game, even though the Eagles scored 35
but the Eagles
points.
were still able to move the ball.
Yeah, for sure. More that O-line.
I would say more that O-line because the entire 2 weeks heading in, that O-line had to hear about how good that, the 4-man rush is. Like the Eagles don't even have to blitz. So, like hats off to him. I think there was a couple minor differences. There was Andy Reid's play calling, I think, was a little bit better in the second half. There was a couple minor things, and those swung at KC's way. I think KC definitely deserved to win. Just wish we got to see a better ending.
What did you think of that first call that got reversed with the catch?
That first one, I have no idea why it was reversed. The one, the catch on the sideline, because you never see him lose possession of the ball.
No, not at all.
So if you call that a catch, it has to stay a catch.
Agree.
100%.
Agree.
However, the one where it was a fumble and a touchdown, and that got called back, I think that should have stood too against the Eagles.
Me too.
Yeah.
I felt both reverses in the video were bad. So
Yeah.
Did you? What did you think of Rihanna, Lester?
Listen, I loved it. It
was good.
Listen, I personally wanted to see "Please Don't Stop the Music," but given the fact that she was pregnant, I think that that's a too high a tempo tune for her to do, and she obviously couldn't dance the way she would have normally. So,
Do you see all these like internet conspiracies and stuff? That I guess I thought at the end it didn't show on TV, but in the stadium she put her head. I thought she was doing the heart, but it looked a little more like a triangle, which signifies something. I don't know.
Isn't that Jay-Z's
thing?
Yeah, the whole sign.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So that's all she was
The
doing.
diamond. The
That's
Rockefeller
Jay-Z's?
diamond. That's
Oh,
because
I saw TikTok that it was all sorts
that's
of.
also the song too, right?
But no, that doesn't look like a diamond. It's a triangle.
This.
that's a diamond.
Yeah,
This is literally like the. Yeah.
doesn't look like a diamond.
Yeah, of course that's a diamond shape.
All right,
Your
fine.
triangles are whack, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, I just know on TikTok there was
I
all
think-
sorts of conspiracy theories.
Oh, there always are.
Well, a lot of people were complaining that like she was
They were idiotic.
moving around or whatever. It's like
She's pregnant.
She's pregnant, and also like the part of the show was
That was
these
crazy.
massive-
Did it show how high they were above the
Yeah,
ground?
You guys watch the video I sent? Of the dancer that falls?
Yeah, I saw that.
No,
I saw it.
oh
Well,
my
it just
God.
falls. Doesn't fall. It just
No,
falls.
but falls
on
right,
the
right
thing.
near the edge.
Oh
Like,
my
it was
God.
pretty close to being a
Oh,
disaster.
I
man.
was the whole time I was watching.
Yeah,
that's
I could-
all I could think about. I was terrified that something was going to go wrong.
Luke Wilson said the same thing, actually.
Yeah,
now
I-
did they have? They
The
were,
dancers, I don't know. You could tell.
she
was
must have had
attached on the
something on
back.
her. Yeah.
But the dancers, I don't know. But I thought it was a great like showcase from her. And to your point, like when you go for 13 minutes, 12 different songs, hit after hit, and people can still list a bunch of stuff like, why didn't you do this? Why
Yeah.
didn't you do that?
That's pretty impressive.
That's
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
That's a
Every
career-
Super
that's a
Bowl,
career there.
every
Catalog,
Super Bowl show, I sit there and go, "Oh, I forgot you did that song. Or I forgot he did that song." Every single time.
People also complain that she did the hook for All of the Lights, which is a Kanye song.
Right.
Because of Kanye West, I guess,
Oh.
not being the most popular right now. Like, man, she did the hook for the song. It was a hit.
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
I don't.
she was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought she was awesome. It's never as good in the stadium because I think it's done as a TV show. Like that one shot at the end where they pulled out with the fireworks was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it never quite sounds as good in a giant stadium like that, but it's still it was still
It's
good.
not meant for a music
No.
thing. The one other thing from the game though was the turf that I wanted.
Oh,
Well,
terrible.
this is a
And
disaster.
what did you see from being there? Because that was like
Well,
it
I
looked
could-
like a slip and slide.
Yeah, well, they commissioned this turf from the PGA Tour was the one who sold them on it or whatever, but how do you have turf just for a Super Bowl that you've never
Yeah,
tried?
exactly. Why
I
wouldn't
don't
you just
know.
use what you
I don't
use
know.
all season?
Like
Yeah.
if you have a bad field at a Grey Cup in Edmonton at the end of November, it's still not great, but you can kind of understand it. It's Canada.
Yes.
You cannot have bad field in Phoenix in absolute perfect conditions in the
Indoors.
Super Bowl.
No.
I could talk a million things more about this, but we want to wait till Puffy comes back next week or something, and I'll try to remember a few more stories for you guys, and let's run through a couple of your things because we have, I believe, 10 minutes to get out
we
of
only
here.
got a couple minutes here, so let's do things we saw on Twitter.
Freaky pigs, strange chicks, world affairs, polar bears, fake news, nice shoes, big boobs, jack dudes. All of these things and more as I sat on the shitter. Things that I saw on Twitter.
So this first one comes from the White House. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of unidentified flying objects
Yes.
up in our North American skies. So here's the White House commenting on it.
Wanted to make sure we address this from the White House. I know there have been questions and concerns about this, but there is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Again, there is no indication of aliens or terrestrial activity with these recent takedowns.
Well, there you have it.
There you have
Although my only thing is, if they're not telling us what it is, how wise are those people laughing like so dismissingly?
It does. I said this. It does feel a little like the opening scenes of Independence Day or
Yes, of
something,
course,
where the
yes.
government's denying.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just the weather balloons. I'm not. I believe in that there are people out there, but I think they're many universes away. So I don't think they could just sneak in undetected and we suddenly start noticing them.
I think Puff's an alien, personally.
That's not an unpopular theory.
Yeah, but I think it's been fun to see all these people, and again, all over social, everyone thinks it's aliens,
Oh, of course.
right?
No.
Everything they see now in the sky is an alien, which is amazing. I think
That's where we're at.
this time in the world, this is the perfect thing to happen because there's so many people that are going to believe it,
100%.
right? Anything else you got there?
Andrew Arsenal sent us a terrifying video. This is the snake in the ceiling video.
Oh my goodness! You're gonna put it out on the
Yeah,
on
we'll
the
put
feed.
it on the feed.
That's horrifying. Where
Well, it's
was that?
horrifying
At a
'cause
building?
first, I'm not sure where it was, but at first there's like a little tail dangling.
Yeah.
And when I guess it's
Firemen.
It's like firefighters. They go try to pull it down. The whole ceiling comes down, and it's, I don't know, a massive anaconda.
Oh, my God.
Why didn't Arsenault send us that and not Snake Bites Beat? That should have been that's his beat.
I think Snake Bites feet may have gotten bitten by the snake.
That's his
Maybe.
beat. Now, those terrify me, and this is a way too serious note for the video you put, but do you remember the story in Quebec where there was a reptile store, and above it was an apartment, and this kid went over for a sleepover, and one of the snakes got up and came down and actually suffocated, I think, the two
kids, I
two
believe,
children,
yeah.
or the child that was in the sleepover at least, and just one of the more horrifying stories I've ever heard. That was maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago in Quebec, and I'm not scared of snakes, but that kind of thing is terrifying.
Well, it's terrifying.
Coming in the ceiling, a big boa.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember reading somewhere that this isn't like an uncommon thing with pet shops where animals go missing, the shop shuts down, and they don't really, which is like, it's one thing if you're walking through a forest and you're attacked by a snake. It's another if you're at home and it comes crashing through your ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't know. That video is just the only good thing in that video is when you see the head of the snake go back in the ceiling. That was my only relief because if you're one of those firefighters, what are you? I'm getting the hell out of there, man. I'm not getting paid for this.
My sister-in-law, Brooksy's sister, lived in Australia with her husband for a couple of years, and the snakes were a part of it. One came in the toilet one time.
Oh man,
and not like that size, but everything's big in Australia, right?
Yeah. My sister-in-law lives there as well, and it hasn't been snakes as much, but like lizards, massive spiders.
Right. Do you want to just do viewer mail?
Yeah, let's get to listener mail here.
Why do I always call it viewer mail? David Letterman habits.
Listener mail. Listener mail. Thank you for listening.
So we got Yura Tapiainen writing in regarding your interview with Schefter, saying, I think Schefter got the biggest scoop of his career when Jimmy said that this was actually a football podcast.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
So
I think you preempted by saying this is a football podcast, but we talk about other things.
Yeah. So I know you guys were talking about where like the guys are walking around the floor. It's still not necessarily easy to get them all. They're all running around from interview to interview, and there's handlers around. And so I had to sell. So I would sell these guys. And I may have said a couple of times, hey guys, do you have a second here? We're a #1 podcast in Canada. Looking for a couple of minutes here, but we only talk about TV shows. What you watch?
They seem to like that, though.
I think they enjoyed that.
yeah, but you guys were into it, absolutely.
Well, it helped me. This podcast actually helped my work for maybe the first time ever, because post-game, we usually are allowed the entire crew on the field. This time, they really tried to limit it. I don't know if it's still post-COVID or what, but only 50 people were allowed on the field outside of the rights holders. So we were only given 3 passes. Wow. So Jesse and I and Ryan Vardy, the camera person, were the only people on the field. And usually Farhan is there and Dennis, the producer, and they try to get us guests while we're talking. So I had to try to get us guests while we were doing the hit. So I'd have a couple minutes off, and Kadarius Toney was standing waiting to do ESPN.
Joka.
And I said, Joka, remember me from Monday night? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you got 2 minutes? Boom, Kadarius Toney.
There you go.
Perfect.
So there you go.
Awesome.
The podcast finally
I
helped
did think
out.
in the post, I thought you were going to work in like Bradbury likes horror movies. He's living one now.
I really should have.
And by the way, Reed Blankenship, he only got in on one play, I believe, because the Eagles only went in dime once, and it was that final play as well.
It would have been hilarious, though, if what's-his-face, the punter, botched the hold on the game-winning field goal.
I was literally praying for it.
It would have been it probably would have been the most amazing thing in podcast
Absolutely.
history, right?
Do you think if Tony returns that for a touchdown, if he doesn't get knocked out at the 5-yard line, does he have a shot at MVP?
Probably not.
Because he's only not in enough?
No.
I was bugging the
But that's
guys.
2 touchdowns.
The guys on the panel before the game, like it's the quarterbacks always get it. And
I get
look,
that.
I have no problem with Mahomes
I have
getting
no
it.
problem with him
Yeah.
getting
And
it.
Jalen
but
would have
he
gotten
was
it the other
kinda
way.
on the level with a lot of guys on
Yeah.
his team.
But with the
Jalen,
ankle,
Jalen would have won.
with the
if-
ankle,
100%.
Mahomes is going to get it. You better finish off listener mail.
TJ writing in, flew into Phoenix Monday and saw James Duthie. I was too starstruck to say anything about the pod. Just got off a James Duthie with a point. Got a, hey, how's it going back?
This
Looks
is
like
so
he had
Monday
a
of this
big
week
night.
when I was leaving and he
I
was.
believe so.
It wasn't a big night, a late night. He's trying to say I look disheveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm usually fairly disheveled at airports, so fair enough. People are used to seeing me in suits and makeup with my hair gelled, and so I was probably looking like a bum. Thanks, buddy. You should have said hi. Say hi next time, please.
Well, he yelled James Duthie and pointed.
No,
at
I
you.
think there were a few people did that only because they were coming off the Toronto plane, right? That I was going on to. I'm not like everybody at the airport knew me. I just think I was going to the gate as the Toronto people were coming off, so there were a couple of those.
100%. Got it.
Tyler Schreiber writes in, just listening to the new episode, the story of the girl that was drunk and caused the damages. The end of our city is still recovering from that event. I have a friend who was a first responder in the scene. It was nuts.
Was that last week? I don't know the story.
You didn't listen to our episode?
Oh
Maybe
my
not
god!
yet.
Oh my!
Maybe
You'll
not.
listen to the part he's in.
I will. I promise, but I didn't yet.
I was hoping for a comprehensive review on my hosting skills.
I will do that next week.
Good job.
All right.
I have not had a lot of time since I got home. I promise I will listen.
Alrighty. Andy Kent will get out on this. Writes in at Rubber Boots Pod. Kadarius Toney. Thanks, Jimmy, for the prop bet.
That's what we do here.
And I will say, I mean, from previous Super Bowls, even if someone's on the pod taking a prop bet, an over, a touchdown, something, it's not a bad idea.
I told you the last time Deebo Samuel had a big Super Bowl, even though they didn't win. And he was kind of not a nobody, but I think general NFL fans, didn't really know Deebo that much the last time they were in the Super Bowl. We did him. So it's going to be a tradition from here forward.
Well, there was another defensive player, name escapes me right now, but they had an interception in the game that we interviewed earlier in the week.
I thought there was no interceptions in that Super Bowl.
No, not a couple years ago.
years
Not this particular.
Right,
I'm saying
Yeah,
the
no,
ones
you're
where you
right.
sent this one.
You're right.
I
You're
can't
right.
remember who it was.
Either can I, but you're right.
Because I actually had a bet on them to win MVP, and so once that pick happened, I was like, oh, maybe. I just need one more.
Right.
I think it was a KC guy, maybe. No,
May have been. Well,
anyway.
We'll have to look into the archives
Yes.
there.
is that it?
It's pretty good. So we'll be starting me doing Wikipedia, classic films on Wikipedia, reading them.
Very nice.
Is there any, I'll throw this out to our audience. Is there any films you want me to start with? I'm going to try to do a film I haven't seen yet because they'll probably be a lot more fun. So throw out your suggestions. You guys have anything?
I don't know. We were on a
Classic
snakes
films?
theme. How about Snakes on a Plane?
Ooh,
Right.
I have not seen Snakes on a Plane.
I pretty much, the Wikipedia thing will probably say a bunch of snakes on a plane.
On a mother plane.
Yeah, one of us-
Yes.
wasn't that the only thing they sold in the pitch meeting was Snakes on a Plane and Samuel L. Jackson saying, "Get these snakes off this plane." That's
all you need.
that was the entire pitch.
That's it.
I wanted to do a quick shout out before I go to a friend of mine in Ottawa has a band called Jack Straw, and they just released their first album. They're playing covers forever. It's kind of 80s rock. It's classic rock they do, but they're pretty good at it. Classic. Maybe I'll send you a little bit. You can play a little bit of one of their songs.
Sure.
Love it.
And so that's my buddy Rick and his band Jack Straw, and he sent me the song. So if you're into 80s rock, check out Jack Straw, JAXSTRAW. Good old-fashioned, old-style classic rock band. And next week, maybe all four of us will be here, and we'll see if Bump can. Probably not.
No, Stoff's away. So
Yeah.
You're away
Puff's
next
editing
week?
next week. So good luck.
Puff's going to run the show?
Good luck to all.
So off week next week?
Off week
No.
next.
We'll
Return the week after?
No, we'll do something.
Lester and I'm going to tease one thing. Lester and I have a project we're working on.
Yes.
May or may not involve trade deadline, and I'm very excited about it. So that's my tease for next week. Hopefully we'll get Puffy back. We'll ask Bump again, but he's probably not available. Thanks for listening to this abbreviated edition of the Rubber Boots Podcast.
Hey, how are you? I got a question that I really want to ask you. Wait, don't hang up. I need to know, so I'm gonna try and push my luck. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like the dunk tank at the fair? I know it's a little strange, my obsession with your choice of footwear in the rain. I know that you're on TV, but I need you to put your boots up on the desk for me. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like the dunk tank at the fair? This is the part they call the bridge. A bridge has water under it. With rubber boots you can wade in the water. Just don't fall in. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? Are they purple, yellow, green, blue, black, or white? Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? And do you like a dunk tank at the fair?
Do you like the dunk tank?
At the fair.
The dunk tank, the dunk tank.
At the fair. Are you wearing your rubber boots tonight? No, seriously. Are you wearing your rubber boots? Don't hang up, please. Somebody? Hey? Anyone?